The Predetermined Pathways of Detective Darren Drake. Detective Darren Drake slumped at his desk, surrounded by case files, coffee stains, and the existential dread that came from 3 weeks without a lead. The choice killer, as the media had dubbed them, had claimed 5 victims and left behind nothing but bizarre notes predicting exactly how each victim would react before death. Drake rubbed his temples. 5 people dead, 5 notes predicting exactly how they'd react when confronted. What kind of sick game is this? His partner, Officer Layla Chen, dropped another file on his desk. 6th victim just came in. Same MO killer leaves note predicting victim's actions, creates a deadly scenario. Victim reacts exactly as predicted. Let me guess, another proof of determinism? Drake mumbled. Yep. Note reads, subject will choose the red door, hesitate for 8.2 seconds, then scream for exactly 3.4 seconds. Chen grimaced. Coroner confirms timing was spot on. Drake picked up the case files, examining the notes from each crime scene. Subject will hide under the bed, then attempt to flee through the window. Subject will freeze, then beg for mercy in exactly 12 words. Subject will attempt to fight, specifically with the nearby lamp. Each prediction had been eerily accurate. What if the killer isn't causing the deaths? Drake wondered aloud. What if they're just observing what was always going to happen? Chen rolled her eyes. Getting philosophical on me, Drake. Next, you'll tell me we're all just characters in someone's story. Drake's phone rang. The captain needed him at another crime scene. This time, the victim had survived. At the hospital, Drake interviewed Bernard Phillips, a philosophy professor who had escaped with minor injuries. The killer set up an elaborate trap, Phillips explained. 2 doors. A note said I would choose the blue door and survive with a broken arm. Drake leaned forward. And I decided to prove the killer wrong. I consciously chose the red door. Phillips held up his bandaged arm. Broke my arm exactly as predicted. The note said I would pick the blue door as reverse psychology, that I'd think I was outsmarting fate by choosing red. Drake's head spun. But you chose red, believing you were defying the prediction. Precisely, don't you see? The killer predicted I would think I was making a free choice while actually following a predetermined path. Phillips laughed manically. It's brilliant. Determinism proven through murder. Back at the precinct, Drake pored over the files again. Each victim had been given a seeming choice. Each had acted exactly as predicted. What if we're all just programmed? Drake muttered. The next day, they caught a break. A small camera had captured the killer entering a victim's apartment. The figure was tall, wore a distinct custom-made coat, and walked with a slight limp. Drake shot up. I know who it is. Dr. Eleanor Watts, renowned neuroscientist and author of The Illusion of Choice, smiled pleasantly as Drake and Chen entered her office. Detective Drake, I've been expecting you. Today at 3:47 p.m. to be precise. Drake glanced at his watch, 3:47 p.m. You've been conducting a sick experiment, Drake said, proving your determinism theory through murder. Not murder, Dr. Watts corrected. Observation. I simply predicted how people would react in certain scenarios. The fact that they died was statistically inevitable. You're under arrest, Chen said, reaching for her handcuffs. Dr. Watts smiled. In my desk drawer is a sealed envelope. Inside is a prediction I wrote 3 months ago. Drake cautiously opened the drawer and found the envelope. Inside was a handwritten note. Detective Drake will discover my identity on April 24th. When confronted, he will not immediately arrest me, but will instead read this note completely. He will then look at his partner, hesitate for 4.7 seconds, and say, "This proves nothing." His hand will shake as he realizes that even this reaction was predicted. Drake felt his hand trembling as he finished reading. He looked at Chen, opened his mouth, then closed it, acutely aware that saying, "This proves nothing," would only validate the prediction. After exactly 4.7 seconds of silence, he blurted out, "This proves nothing." Dr. Watts smiled. Even your attempt to defy my prediction was predicted, Detective. Free will is merely an illusion we tell ourselves to sleep at night. As they led Dr. Watts away in handcuffs, Drake couldn't shake the unnerving thought that perhaps his entire investigation, every hunch, every deduction, had been nothing but neurons firing in predictable patterns, a cosmic script written long before he'd ever picked up the case. That night, he stared at his bedroom ceiling, wondering if his decision to become a detective had been a choice at all, or merely the inevitable result of causes beyond his control. And somewhere in a prison cell, Dr. Watts was smiling, knowing exactly what Drake was thinking.